All right, guys, welcome back to the FTF show. Today we have Gordon Leon. Thanks for coming in, dude.
Yeah, thanks for having me out.
Flew in from Arizona. Gonna do some golfing, it sounds like, today.
Yeah, feel like this was like a last minute little get together and glad we were able to make it happen.
Made it a family trip, too.
We did.
You might as well.
So I'm like, all right, should I come out for a day and a half or just invite them along and stay for like half the week? So
nice.
I try to bring them everywhere for work or for fun.
Might as well, dude.
Make a trip out of it.
And you came at the right time because Utah is beautiful. Okay, well, hey, guys, let's dive into dope or nope. Should I go first? Want me to go first?
Go for it.
I actually have it on the table with me.
Okay.
Can you guys guess what it is? No?
Like XLR app? No?
And the XLR cable. Here, I'll show you. It's actually this little sticker that sticks to the back of my iPad. So this right here is a covered water bear. Huh? It's a screen cleaner.
I've seen those.
Okay.
I've never seen one.
Oh, okay. So what's nice about this is you can stick it and it's a adhesive on the back. It doesn't like go bad.
It doesn't go bad?
You can stick it over and over wherever you want to. But you can stick it on the back of an iPad, of your phone. What's nice too is that you can refresh it. If you wash it, you just put it under water, let it dry for a little bit, and it's back to normal. Even the back adhesive part, even if you wash that. So I think this is pretty freaking dope because you can stick it absolutely anywhere. $15 for one.
Come again?
I'm gonna be honest, it feels a little expensive, but that's the price on Amazon. Local guy started this company.
Okay. Oh, cool.
And honestly, they're pretty freaking dope. So
Jeez, I wonder how much it costs to make one. It's gonna
50
make
cents.
so much money. That's crazy.
I'm sure the margins are pretty freaking
That's,
good.
yeah, that's really good. This is great news because Landon screens. He works on a MacBook
horrendous.
Pro,
Yeah.
and it looks like he forgets every day that it's not a touchscreen.
Yeah, I'm just constantly putting my
Fingerprints,
fingers
grease
on it.
everywhere. It's like insane.
I'm giving it a dope. Obviously, I think it's sick. What do you guys think?
I think it's dope.
You think it's dope?
Is the quality pretty good compared to like a microfiber, or not microfiber, but like a normal?
Well, hey, give it a whirl. Tell me what you think.
So here's my. I'm not trying to be like a stickler. I'm not trying to look for like any reason at all to give it a note. It's just the price for me.
It is. That is
because
one
I
thing for
have
me
my
too.
bag most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the time I have any sort of tech with me. I've got my bag and I keep microfiber cloths in there.
Yeah.
I mean, most of them come with filters and lenses and
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that. So I kind of just get them with. I just have a bunch already. So that's my only thing.
Spoiled. You just get them for free.
You know,
I feel you though. The
Yeah.
price is the one thing.
that's the only thing. But
And I think the 4-pack is like $40. So, but the thing is, these are reusable. Like you can use them theoretically forever.
that's true. It's true. And they're
Harder to
convenient.
lose if it sticks.
All right, I'll give it a dope.
Hey,
That's my only thing, just the price. But
kind of a pity dope.
you
But
gotta,
I'll take it.
Well, no, I do think it's dope. If it was like $4, easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
this is made in the USA, baby.
okay, fine.
American
Extra dope.
Yeah.
Cue the horns.
Oh, is it?
All right, what do you got? You want to go? You want to go?
I'll let you go.
Oh, dude. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. Mine's pretty. I'm not confident in mine.
Okay, well,
What do you shoot on, Gordon?
A7S3
Okay.
typically. Yeah.
Well, okay. So here's my thing. Is I shoot on FX3. Landon does. A lot of people do.
Sure.
And the shotgun mic that we have from Sennheiser is kind of skinny. It's a little skinny guy. Really long. It's nice, but it's kind of skinny. So
okay.
whatever your preference is.
Can I get more
But
detail on that?
yeah, whatever your preference is.
Yeah, tell us about the texture.
Yeah, so the handle that comes with the FX3 has a little XLR microphone holder,
Yeah.
but it's too big for the Sennheiser. I found these little rubber spacers.
It's a rubber.
It's a rubber.
Sorry, it's just funny. The way you described this whole thing and
Does
then
it
you
just
lead
add
up
more
to the
girth to it, or?
Yeah, it does.
Okay.
So if you're struggling with that, this adds just that little bit of thickness. It fits a lot better.
Can I see it? Okay.
What's it meant for?
A microphone.
Okay. Yeah.
But I won't judge if you
And it works?
put it on your fingers. Yes, it works. I guess my microphone's like so skinny that I was using two.
It's okay. Don't be ashamed of it. Yeah, here's the thing. It's kind of an underwhelming product to bring to the table. I'm not gonna lie. I know the functionality is there. I think it's great, but I feel like I could just go grab a piece of rubber from like a hose or go to Home Depot and you cut something out.
A hose is more expensive than that.
And what's this cost?
Like $1 maybe
Okay, I think it's pretty sick.
for like a 4-pack.
Made in the U.S. or no?
Yeah.
Probably not.
I'm not buying it unless it's US made.
Honestly,
Probably
my
not.
If I had a huge enough pain point for me to like need something like that and I found it, I would say that's pretty dope. But personally,
But you don't.
I don't. So
It's like a 0.2% the cost of your microfiber thing.
Well,
do you use it every day?
No, I don't even use that microphone.
Then I might give it a nope.
yeah.
But if I wanted to, I could now.
I want to give it a nope. I'm going to give it a dope. A pity dope because you gave me a pity dope.
Yeah.
So what'd you do before when you didn't have that?
I just wouldn't run audio at all. Yeah.
All right, Gordon, what do you got?
All right, hopefully I get a honest dope here. I just got these last minute.
Dope.
The Meta Ray-Bans. And these are the transition ones too. I didn't know what I thought about them. I felt like transitions were kind of eh. Long story short, it's just easy for like handless content creation.
Sure. Yeah.
I don't think that's a good
How often are you going handless?
POV.
Stop it. Get some help.
POV content creation.
Yeah, good POV content when I need, like for example, I need to capture some content like on the plane coming here with the family. I'm like, instead of my wife being embarrassed of like holding the phone, I'm like, oh, can you slap these on real quick to just like, capture some content? She just holds on the button real quick and
That's nice.
it's very discreet.
May I?
Yeah.
I've actually never held.
You look like Mr. Fredrickson.
It's sliding forward on my head.
Yeah.
I feel like,
If it had like a grippy maybe.
yeah, maybe my nose is too small. I don't know.
This might be a you issue here.
That's not the
It's
problem.
the first time I've ever heard that. I just feel like you've got a small head and it made your face look really small. So I'm curious.
Well, for
I've been wanting
POV
these.
content, especially for like some like I do a lot of user generated content for e-com brands.
Yeah.
So like doing like unboxing videos, that's super clutch.
What's the quality? What's the resolution of this?
Quality. Good question.
Are they slipping off your nose too?
It's not 1080 by 1920.
It's not.
It's a different. I think it's a 4:5 ratio. But the quality is actually really good.
Yeah. Yeah. I've seen a lot of videos done on it.
Can you get these prescription?
You can.
I might need to pick some up.
I like it. I'm going to give it a dope. I think it deserves it.
For a specific purpose, I do like it.
I've been looking at them for a while. I haven't pulled the trigger. So maybe I'll wait for the next.
Because they're like
gen.
what, like $400, I think.
Is that what they are? Yeah. It's one of those things where it's like
I could go or I could go without it, but
the idea of it is really cool.
yeah.
But it's like, am I actually going to use it?
All right, I might be getting one. That's how dope this is.
Okay.
You got full dopes, dude.
All right.
You got a winner on your first show.
There we go.
Let's go. This episode is sponsored by Tourbox. All right, this next tool, it's not really something that I've used for years or anything, but after testing it over the past couple of weeks, I get why people are hyped by it. This might actually be one of the most practical desktop tools that I've tried in a while. So it's basically a fully customizable controller that comes with tons of plugins developed by the company and designed for creators, where every dial, wheel, and button can actually be mapped to your own specific workflow. So instead of like constantly reaching for keyboard shortcuts or dragging sliders around with your mouse, you just dial it in. Now for me, this kind of gear isn't really about adding more, it's about subtracting friction. Whether I'm color grading, I'm writing, I'm planning a launch, or editing content, I'm jumping between different apps all day. So having something tactile like this that adapts to each tool actually makes a huge difference. And not just in editing, even something simple like zooming into a Milanote board or scrolling a long document, it just feels better. And one of the cooler updates they just added is called Hover Adjust. It's for DaVinci Resolve users. So now when you hover over any slider or color wheel in the color panel, without clicking, the Tourbox can instantly recognize and then take control of that item. Pretty smart. If you're someone that's spending hours every single day in creative apps, this really is the peripheral that can shave off more time than you think. Now, I'm still dialing in my setup, no pun intended, but the Tourbox Elite Plus has definitely earned a spot on my desk. And Tourbox also gave us a coupon, so if you want a good discount on the Tourbox Elite Plus, go ahead and hit that link below. And once again, Tourbox, thank you for sponsoring this episode. All right, guys, let's move on to epic fails. This is really where we're going to talk about the funniest, most embarrassing things that have happened to us on set. So when I was just starting videography, I did a lot of weddings, and these are like Mormon weddings. Like they're not like traditional, more cinematic storytelling. There's two layers, I guess, to doing weddings in Utah. Okay. You have the first look, which is where the groom sees the bride for the first time in her dress. And then you have like the actual wedding where they exit the temple and then you go into the reception, whatever. It's like,
Are you allowed to film in the temple?
No, you only film them exiting the temple.
It's
It's pretty boring. You don't really get to see much. So the first look, I was filming this first look we went out to the Great Salt Lake, and on the Great Salt Lake, you have like this huge, just blank canvas area. It's kind of like the Salt Flats, but just like scaled down, right? So I drive out there with our bride and groom, and I have my assistant with me, and he's shooting as well, and he's also going to be editing the video. And what was really popular at the time, because this was like 2017, 2018, was colored smoke bombs. Do you remember those days?
Yep.
Like everyone loved colored smoke bombs. It was in like every video for whatever reason, because it just added so much texture and color, whatever. And I brought these and I just had them in my back pocket ready to go. And we shoot a bunch of stuff and with the bride and the groom. And I'm like, hey guys, I'm going to give each of you a smoke bomb. Like the bride had the pink one, the groom had the blue one. And I'm like, I want you to just like pull the string and then just like run out that way towards the lake, right? And I'm going to be standing right here. I'm just going to film the smoke coming up. They pull it. They start running. The bride's veil is like flowing behind her, and she's holding up this smoke bomb and waving it around. And there's sparks flying off of this thing, and it literally catches her veil on fire. Singes. It was so embarrassing because it was my idea. I was like, oh, this could be so awesome. It singes her veil. And it's like,
Did she notice?
she noticed because her veil was on fire. It was right here. It's like a $250 veil or something like that, which I don't know if that's good or bad. I have no idea what veils go for, but it completely singed it. And she was freaking out. She's like, oh my gosh. And like, we pat it out and
Jump
it's just,
in the lake.
It's just right. It's just singed black. And I didn't even know how to respond. I was like, because what's hard is like, it was my idea, but she like brought it that close to her head too. So
Like there's so many things that could have gone wrong here.
I know. I should have done
stained
it.
her white wedding dress.
Oh yeah, like because that smoke can actually like make it like turn yellow. The white part
Which
turn
was
yellow.
blue and pink. It seemed like a gender reveal.
Yeah,
running
pretty
out.
much, dude. So we finished that. I apologize. It was so awkward, and she was like visibly upset.
She was.
I was like, "Ugh, freak."
You drove in the same car?
No, thankfully
Okay,
not.
good.
And so and we wrap up, and like I think I kind of cleared it up okay. And then I'm writing back with my assistant / editor, and I'm like, "Okay, dude, you need to crank out this edit tonight. Like, I want to send this to her like by the end of the night or like early tomorrow morning to try and make up for that." She forgave me. I saw her on the wedding day, and she was totally fine. She got the veil replaced, but that was probably the most embarrassing moment I've ever had.
It's rough.
Yeah, it was
Yeah, I
bad.
think ruining anything on a wedding day is kind of a hard one to recover from.
I think you have bad luck for the rest of your life.
I know. I hate to use the term bridezilla, but like
And that doesn't help either.
that does not help when tensions are already high. So
Some
Yeah,
people
you have
probably
no
wouldn't.
right.
So mine wasn't a huge epic. It was like more of like a fail that turned to like a finesse. I feel like everybody's encountered this before, but it's how you recover. So one of my shoots was with a first-time client. They're in the e-com space, like retail. They sell cat food. We had our first big campaign in person at an Airbnb. Brought out some cameras. We're gonna do some like sizzle reels for like Amazon, like an Amazon hero video or something. So they brought out a couple cats, brought out their director, a couple people from their team, and I was gonna be, the lead videographer more or less to capture all the content, more run and gun style. But it was a pretty decent sized production. I think it was like a 12K project. Got there, grabbed my camera, checked my battery, and it was at like 1%. Checked my backup batteries, and usually I flip them to know if they're dead. All of them were flipped in my camera case. I forgot to charge them all the day before.
oh my gosh.
So now I'm like, all right. And the shoot was like an hour and a half away, so there's no way of getting another battery. So how could I finesse the situation? I somehow talked to the director, and I'm like, all right, this looks like a perfect location actually to do, like a UGC production where we actually get more authentic, content using our iPhones.
Yeah.
And I think we could start with the first half day here because we had a 2-day production. The next day we had the same space.
Yeah.
So the first day, I'm like, all right, what if we did UGC production, grabbed our iPhones, got more, organic content.
And then you grab your phone and it's at 1%. No, just kidding.
Luckily, it wasn't. And typically for UGC productions, I usually have my assistant with me, and I never use my own phone. I just use their phone.
Oh, really? Nice.
Yeah. So I have an iPhone 14, so it's pretty booty. But long story short, they were cool with it because I'm like, all right, let's ease into the production.
Yeah.
Figure out the types of shots we get the cats comfortable with the food, seeing how it goes, and then do our full-day production the next day.
That's a new phrase. Get the cats comfortable with the food. I've never heard anyone say that.
Dude, doing a cat production is hard.
I can imagine. They do not want to obey anything.
You have such a small time limit to capture content before they get uninterested. I'm like allergic to cats on top of that. and they could only eat so much food.
Yeah.
So you get like maybe like 2 cans of food worth, and they're like dipping and gone.
They're done.
And they're super
They're gonna go
skittish.
take
Not
a nap.
skittish, but they're like, oh fuck,
Yeah.
I'm out of here.
Yeah. That's pretty good,
Made it
dude.
work.
That's quite the finesse.
Yeah. Luckily, they were cool clients. Other people,
Yeah.
I probably would have had to call someone to like run something by, but that probably would have taken like half an hour.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
surprised the director wasn't like, no, we have this time blocked out for this and that and that.
Yeah. Knowing that they were
Lucky.
a chill type of client, that's why I brought that up too. So kind of feeling them out.
Yeah. That's funny.
Did you already have like UGC content in mind? Like you had that planned out? You just changed
It was,
the-
yeah. I just
Okay.
changed the order of the days, more or
Nice.
less.
The amount of times that I have not charged anything and I'm banking on Bryson
Yeah.
at least having one extra battery. It happens probably every day.
Or like when you have like 10% left, like I could finesse this with 10%.
Yeah, I could go through a whole day
yeah.
with this one
I
battery.
got this.
I'm very dependable.
Well, hey guys, let's move on to creative workflow. So you run a full-scale production company in Scottsdale, right?
Correct.
And you do a lot of UGC stuff. You do a lot of just typical ads, organic social content, sounds like as well, right?
Yeah.
So you have a project that I think you wanted to show everybody, and then you're going to give us the whole workflow of actually
It'll be quick. Yeah, just like
getting the client, kind of
getting the
moving
client,
through
how
final
they found us.
deliverables.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Let's see it. and
So
we'll play
this
it.
one's a UGC video we did in studio for a woman's like fitness product where we had like a couple models come out.
As someone who struggles with low back pain and bad posture, P-Volve has been transformative for me. I have been using P-Volve for a few months now. My body has never felt or looked better. Today, I am streaming the strength and sculpt class, and I am using resistance equipment that actually targets multiple muscles. I am blown away by how much my body has toned up. I definitely recommend adding P-Volve into your morning workout routine if you're wanting to feel and look amazing.
Nice.
That's
Yeah,
a really
we're-
good
we're
video.
organic. We do like 8 different iterations of that to see which one's a winner.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing too, is like when you work with e-com brands, you can't just deliver one video and hope for the best. If
Sure.
it doesn't convert, then
Yeah.
that makes you look bad. You're not gonna come back because they didn't get any conversions off that.
Yeah.
So we usually, for UGC productions, have it more, that one's more of a staged one.
Sure. Yeah.
But try to make it seem as authentic as possible, showcasing the product.
Yeah, but definitely scripted that and prepped exactly
Yeah,
what you wanted to say.
sure.
Nice. Cool. What's the
So
workflow? I'm curious.
Workflow is, I guess, how clients find us. Typically, we run a meta campaign on
Mm-hmm.
Facebook, Instagram to acquire leads. I feel like that's the biggest thing that helps me allocate or free up my time
Yeah.
by not going out finding clients or hope I get a DM in my IG,
Mm-hmm.
hoping a new client comes in. We have a campaign set up on Meta that just runs
Who are
to
you-
generate leads.
So who are you targeting? Like, what's the targeting look like? I guess that's
Yeah.
where I've always had the biggest questions of like, I know how to hit consumers, but
Sure.
how do you hit the brands specifically?
So if I'm doing like an interest-based campaign,
Mm-hmm.
the biggest ones I've worked for me was Shopify. I've tried drop shipping as an interest. It's a hit or miss with that type of quality of
Sure.
clients, as you can see.
Yeah.
They're usually like, want to bootstrap everything. Small business owners works well.
Okay.
So Shopify has been, I think, my winning one. Or influencer marketing. I've tried influencer
Really
marketing too.
interesting. And then are you doing geographical too, just in Scottsdale area?
Nationwide.
Oh, it is
All
nationwide.
US.
Oh, okay.
Most of my clients are around the US. They're not local.
Okay, got it.
So typically, the beauty of e-com is they could send me the product. I could do the
can
whole
shoot it.
campaign.
Yeah.
Send over the deliverable.
That's a good point.
And then they don't have to micromanage me in person.
What's the audience? I can only imagine the audience size if you're selecting Shopify as the interest. Is that like pretty broad, like a pretty big audience? Do you scale that down and add more interest to really dial it in?
I don't interest stack necessarily. I try to keep it a relatively healthy, wide audience because depending on the budget you're spending a day, it's going to get narrowed down. So if
Yeah.
I have a audience size of 1 million, but I'm only spending, let's say, someone's spending $10 a day, that's going to be drastically smaller than
Yeah.
finding like, Shopify is a couple hundred, I think it's like 100 or 200 million. And then if I'm spending like $50 a day, then it's a healthy audience size.
So is that your average spend? Maybe about 50
I
bucks?
spend like 1,500 a day,
1,500?
50 to 100.
Okay, it's like, dang, dude, that's pretty.
So
it's excessive.
I
but
could
that's
spend
good.
more, but yeah, not
Yeah.
1,500.
50 to
But
100?
Yeah,
And then
usually
what's-
50 to 100, like 100-ish.
What's like a good cost per lead for you? What's
Cost
your-
per lead is around, depending on the season. I feel like Q4 it was a little more expensive. With Black Friday, Cyber Monday, holidays.
Oh, yeah, it's very
It was
competitive.
super high. It was like $30 cost per lead, but they're quality. But typically they're around like 15 to 20 cost per lead.
Okay, and then the whole call to action in the ad is, hey, hop on a call with me to create content, or what's that look like?
Click the button below to learn more.
Okay.
Try to keep it kind of soft.
Yo, Arizona business owners, do you need videos that are f***ing amazing? Now that we've got your attention, this is what we do. We create scroll-stopping videos for businesses like yours. Have a big event? We'll create a fire recap video. Need content for the gram? Easy, we got you. There's a reason why we have a ton of 5-star reviews. Click now to partner with Lee Visuals today.
So long story short, get that, schedule a discovery call. I've tried sending them the call to action after they fill out that lead form to a Calendly where they book a call. I never really found good conversions when they get a choice to book their call. So this is where I kind of like manually come in to just send text message. So once that comes through, I could automate this, but I think it's a little bit more authentic doing this part.
Yeah.
And I just found it to work for me. So that's why I do it. So once I see the lead form comes on my phone, I'll either send a quick text message and then I'll send a voice memo right after to show that it's not like, automated again.
Yeah.
Because it could be an automated text.
Yeah.
But I make sure I send like a quick 30-second voice memo.
Well, how
to
many
make it seem natural.
leads are you getting in a day?
If I'm spending $50 and it's like $15 a
Yeah,
lead,
maybe
so
three
like
or four. Sure.
So not a lot.
So yeah, so it's really easy to manage.
It's very doable.
Yeah.
And if they're like crappy leads, I don't really respond to like the
Don't waste your
automation.
time.
What's
Yeah.
your background? Are you like from sales or were you like focused
I
on
would just
video
go for
the whole
nutrition
time?
actually. So nothing related.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
He was a
just-
workout guy. I remember following you back in the day.
Are you
too.
like naturally kind of a salesperson or are you a
I'm
people
like
person?
super introverted, I would say.
Yeah. Okay.
And I just kind of had to figure this
Get over
part
that.
out.
Yeah.
Get over it.
I love that flow though. Sorry, I don't know if you wanted to spend that much time on that, but that's something I know for a fact people are super
We
interested
could.
in.
Yeah. So I feel like the hardest part for most creatives is like, how do I get more clients? I think that's a 2-part answer too. Like, all right, I want to get more clients, but then other people, they can't retain their clients. So you got to figure out how to do both.
Yeah.
So I could get like 100 new clients this month, but if I can't keep them all, what's the point?
Yeah.
Because I run my business off of like retainers. Is how could I retain them for a long period of time?
Yeah.
At least like 6 to 12 months. That'd be like ideal.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's gonna be a fall off eventually where they either go off, try to find someone cheaper, they always come back, or they bring on someone in-house, which is unfortunate.
Mm-hmm.
That's happened a lot to a handful of my biggest clients. I understand.
Totally. Yeah.
They're spending, $10K a month, where they bring on someone in-house for $5K.
Sure.
Like, okay.
On salary.
Yeah. But then how do I get more clients without spending, hours a day cold outreaching? I used to cold outreach, but that's not how I personally run a business. I feel like everybody's trying to get sold nowadays.
Yeah.
Now that if I could run an ad and for them to fill out the lead form, they're very warm now. They want the content. They need the content. Now it's up to me to like kind of close them.
Yeah.
So I hop on a call with them. That's the number one thing is where before I would try to communicate through email, through text, because I was very introverted, like I mentioned, and I would never want to hop on a phone call because I'm like, oh, what if it just goes wrong? What if I just hang up? Or
Well, it's like, what's the worst that could happen? Like,
yeah.
You
The
might
worst
as
thing that
well.
happen is say no. And
Exactly.
You figure that out
Yeah.
as your confidence starts to boost and you do more calls. But as you do more calls, that's where your confidence, boosts up and you're like, all right, I could close these types of clients. I could charge this much, or this is where I went wrong. I'm going to learn how to, finesse that the next time around. So it just, hopping on calls is probably the biggest thing I tell.
How many clients? Sorry, I'm just curious. Like with the amount of leads that you're getting, how many are you trying to land as many of those as you can, or like, do you feel like you're at capacity? How many clients are you getting like per month type thing?
I would love to land as many high quality clients as possible. I don't want to close all those leads necessarily. Half of them I would say is probably not a good fit. A quarter of them are probably my ideal clients. And then out of, let's say 100 leads a month, I could probably close about like 15 like solid leads if those come in.
That's pretty good close rate.
Between small and big clients.
Yeah.
Even close, let's say I spent $2,000 on ads this month and I closed one client, 2K, like a super small client. At least I broke even there.
Yeah.
From one client out of that 100 clients, knowing that I can't really close clients. But if I could close 10 clients, average package is, let's say on the low end, 2 to 10K, the return on that, it's like astronomical.
Oh, for sure.
Like it's a no-brainer why people shouldn't do it.
So what are the deliverables on that video specifically and package price? I guess?
So especially when it's more of a cold campaign where they've never heard of me, usually the cost of the package starts off a little bit lower to kind of fill me out, figure out the relationship, which I understand. So our starting packages are usually around like that, the 3 to like 4,500.
Okay.
3K to 4,500 for like
Yeah.
a small UGC package. I think it's a good way for them to get their foot in the door.
Yeah.
See how the turnaround is, see the quality of the content. And then our ideal like retainer packages from there are like 5 to 7,500. It's like
Okay.
our sweet spot.
So
I've noticed.
what are the deliverables on that lower package and then on the bigger package?
Sure. So like a $3,500 package, I would say they'll get 2 UGC creators where we source the models, where we usually find on Instagram by acquaintances, or I have like a bookmark folder with a bunch of different people in
Just
it.
a Rolodex of
It's a
people
hit
you can,
list.
yeah, for sure.
Different ethnicities, different ages, different looks, different hobbies.
Yeah.
And just have that all lined up.
You just match them up to the brand if they're a good fit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And usually I've worked with them or I know them. Or the biggest thing with UGC content now is not only do they have to look the part, but they have to be a good, speaker on camera and be natural.
Yeah.
If they can't be natural and they look the part, they look great, but they're super awkward on camera, that's going to defeat the whole purpose of that type of deliverable. So it does take a good amount of work finding that right person who's a good look, good fit, and could talk well on camera. So that's the biggest thing that I would say helps separate us from different, maybe UGC agencies, is some people just find whoever, and the deliverables they get is mediocre.
Yeah.
And it might be cheaper, but it won't convert.
Sure.
$3,500 package, 2 UGC creators, 3 deliverables each.
Okay.
So like 15 to 30 second UGC script,
Yeah. 6 videos.
6 videos.
Are you scripting them, or are those coming from the brand?
I'll script them.
Okay.
Nice.
Just using
ChatGPT.
ChatGPT, or
I was
I
gonna
use
say.
Poppy AI now. Have you heard
Okay,
that one?
yeah, I've heard of Poppy.
So I just have a client board for them.
And then you aim to upsell them to a bigger package later.
Upsell them with different hook iterations. So typically they want more variations out of that. So to get the most out of it, we'll do like 2 hook variations per ad. So instead of 6 videos, it's 12 now. Only thing we're changing is like the first 3 to 5 seconds.
Yeah.
It might be a visual hook change. It might be an audio hook change, whatever it may be.
And then they can A/B test that in their ads and everything else. Nice.
Knowing that if they are relatively successful running ads, they need that. So just knowing their pain points, what they need,
Yeah.
upsell them on that. Upsell them on images, just lifestyle images. Sizzle reels, where it's more like top of funnel, high quality content.
Yeah.
So that's where the 7,500 to like 10K packages come in if they need that. And usually they move towards that eventually.
And are those packages, you kind of have a base, wireframe for what those packages are, but they're pretty much custom for every client, just depending on their needs? Is that accurate?
So I feel like the base is like 70% there for most brands across the board, and I just kind of shift up and down depending on
Just kind of understand their needs, right?
That's what the call's for.
This is a pretty good segue, I think, into our last segment here, expert mode. All right, guys, thanks so much for watching this video. If you want to watch the full uncut interview with Gordon, go ahead and become a member of Full-Time Filmmaker. You can actually watch these episodes a week before they hit YouTube, and you can interact with us live in the chat. So go check that out, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.